Finding a way out of the cave. Today we will be discussing the problem-posing method and how it allows students to develop into learners and make the most of their education and hope for them to find their way out of their cave. This is a result of working with others and allowing yourself to think about more than one possible solution to something. We will first go over what the problem-posing method is, then what the cave is, and finally how these ideas fit into college. Freire served as a professor of the history and philosophy of education, and his writings stress the political nature of education and the role of learning in achieving liberation. He explains there are two methods to teaching: the banking system and the problem-posing system. The banking system is where information is just stuffed into students. All it requires is memorization. Problem-posing is where students actually learn and must think critically about what they are learning. It is clear to see that the problem-posing method is in fact better. He makes points that there's never an okay time to be taught with the banking method. So when you're trying to make the most of college, it would be more beneficial to learn from a problem-posing method. From one of our readings, Becoming a Learner, Matthew Sanders talks about how expensive college is and that it better be good. But in order for that to happen, then you should want a problem-posing education. That way you can learn true knowledge. After I spoke to two different adults that had a college education, their views were mostly similar but had an interesting difference. They both agreed that problem-posing was more beneficial, but one of them felt that they were taught with too much of a problem-posing method. This can be true that when you are given too much freedom, you tend to miss the main points and you end up learning false information, and sometimes it's better for a teacher to fill the students with knowledge before going towards a problem-posing strategy. That way everyone can understand. The problem-posing method has become more and more popular as it seems that employers and teachers want to see their students critically think because people want to see what you know and your thought process. Jobs want to see how you think and whether or not you can think critically, not just be told the answers to problems. They don't want to just look at a resume and see pointless education highlights. They want to see how you put the things on your resume into action and show that your education makes you employable. In the real world, you won't always have someone to give you answers. So it's important to develop the ability to think for yourself and have a thought process. Freire and his ideas lead us into the conversation of what the purpose of college is.
Into the purpose of college, let's introduce another vastly influential writer named Plato. Plato is an ancient Greek philosopher. He was a student of the great Socrates, going on to expand the ideas of his teacher. He created a huge influence on our world today through his many writings. Today, though, we will be focusing on one of Plato's most famous pieces, the Allegory of the Cave. The Allegory of the Cave describes prisoners, chained, unable to move. All they do is watch the shadows being projected on a wall from a fire behind them. This is their life until one day, a prisoner is freed and dragged into the light outside of the cave. Once he is outside, he sees all the things everyone has been missing out on. The prisoners inside the cave are the uneducated people, or at least not properly educated. They only take what is given to them, the shadows, and that is all that they know. The prisoner who escaped represents the educated people, the ones who seek further knowledge. Now you may be wondering what this has to do with college and the ideas of teaching, so let's look at it like this. Let's say that the ideas of exiting the cave is going to college. All the people in the cave would be anyone who has not gone to college, while the prisoner who escapes pursues the higher education. College becomes the light. It is a whole new world of endless possibilities and knowledge. This idea raises many questions like, should college be considered light? Is it really a place of enlightenment, or is it just what society paints it to be? Through our discussions, we have come to the conclusion that college can be the light, but only if it uses the problem-solving method to teach students. Otherwise, it would just be more memorization and use of the banking system, and we would never leave the cave.
Education is not using the problem-posing method, it is hindering students' abilities to learn. Heath, an interviewee, states, higher education is a good thing, but most people in life are problem-solving learners. It makes you work harder and learn more, but colleges are not giving many opportunities to do problem-solving learning. Students benefit more from this style of education because it is how their brains process things. So what is the purpose of college? We believe that the purpose of college is to leave the cave, find the light, and become a learner. So college is a tool to help students learn. With so many resources available, students have the opportunity to explore many new things and gain skills beyond the classroom setting. Learning from different experiences helps set up success for students later in their life. Experiences can range from clubs to classrooms to sports teams. These opportunities help students continue to learn and improve their job skills. Plato believes education results in thinkers. When education is performed in the right way, students learn how to gain information and skills through going to school and having opportunities to grow their mind. So was college actually allowing students to learn? With banking concepts, students aren't actually learning, they are just memorizing and regurgitating information. With problem posing, students actually learn and understand things as well as gain other important lifelong skills such as communication and creativity. Shannon Lurie, an educator in the West Ada School District, mentions problem posing education is more relevant and engaging. This makes students feel like the class applies to their life outside of school and makes them more excited to learn.
Education allows students to find the light. Engaging, participating, and questioning all leads to students actually understanding material and gaining lifelong skills. According to our interviewees and our own experiences, most schools operate with the banking system of education. Banking education is causing students to lose their excitement of learning. They become bored in class and don't want to engage or be open to new ideas. They just try to get past school with a good grade and don't try to gain knowledge from their own experiences. Cameron, a college student at Boise State, believes that problem-posing education is more beneficial when learning subjects. Cameron states, "I had much more fun in problem-posing style classes and I learned much more from them." She believes they are more interesting and they help students gain skills from the actual subject, like character and critical thinking. She also states that it is important for both the teacher and the student to put forth effort, otherwise the system won't be effective. This is why we need to engage in more conversations in the classroom. We shouldn't just sit back and memorize information to pass a test. We have to question what we learn and learn to think critically. If everyone in today's world thought critically and for themselves, we would have much more of a voice in society and be able to make use of the knowledge we have instead of staying in the banking method that universities are currently using. The universities we go to today keep us in that dark cave and show us the information they think we need to learn. Colleges should start using the problem-posing method more in order to create more engaged and active learners. By doing this, colleges have the potential to help these students step out of their cave into the light and explore new ideas.